Hey there, I'm Phil Bray. If you started the year with the goal of reading through the whole Bible, I want to help you achieve that goal. Many people hit Leviticus in their Bible in a year reading plan, and that is where they hit the eject button. So, together, we'll read 3 chapters a day. I'll give some quick comments at the end, which hopefully will make Leviticus a bit easier to digest. And before you know it, you'll have ticked Leviticus off your Bible in a year reading plan. And in the process, I might have even convinced you that Leviticus is fun. I'm reading from the World English Bible Translation. Today is day 2, and we're reading from Leviticus chapters 4 through 6. Leviticus chapter 4. Yahweh spoke to Moses, saying, "Speak to the children of Israel, saying, if anyone sins unintentionally in any of the things which Yahweh has commanded not to be done, and does any of them, if the anointed priest sins so as to bring guilt on the people, then let him offer for his sin which he has sinned a young bull without defect to Yahweh for a sin offering. He shall bring the bull to the door of the tent of meeting before Yahweh, and he shall lay his hand on the head of the bull and kill the bull before Yahweh. The anointed priest shall take some of the blood of the bull and bring it to the tent of meeting. The priest shall dip his finger in the blood and sprinkle some of the blood 7 times before Yahweh, before the veil of the sanctuary. The priest shall put some of the blood on the horns of the altar of sweet incense before Yahweh, which is in the tent of meeting. And he shall pour out the rest of the blood of the bull at the base of the altar of burnt offering, which is at the door of the tent of meeting. He shall take all the fat of the bull of the sin offering from it, the fat that covers the innards, and all the fat that is on the innards, and the 2 kidneys, and the fat that is on them, which is by the loins, and the cover on the liver, with the kidneys he shall remove, as it is removed from the bull of the sacrifice of peace offerings. The priest shall burn them on the altar of burnt offering. He shall carry the bull's skin, all its meat, with its head, and with its legs, its innards, and its dung, all the rest of the bull, outside of the camp to a clean place where the ashes are poured out, and burn it on wood with fire. It shall be burned where the ashes are poured out. If the whole congregation of Israel sins, and the thing is hidden from the eyes of the assembly, and they have done any of the things which Yahweh has commanded not to be done, and are guilty, when the sin in which they have sinned is known, then the assembly shall offer a young bull for a sin offering, and bring it before the tent of meeting. The elders of the congregation shall lay their hands on the head of the bull before Yahweh, and the bull shall be killed before Yahweh. The anointed priest shall bring some of the blood of the bull to the tent of meeting. The priest shall dip his finger in the blood and sprinkle it 7 times before Yahweh, before the veil. He shall put some of the blood on the horns of the altar which is before Yahweh, that is, in the tent of meeting, and the rest of the blood he shall pour out at the base of the altar of burnt offering, which is at the door of the tent of meeting. All its fat he shall take from it and burn it on the altar. He shall do this with the bull, as he did with the bull of the sin offering. So he shall do with this, and the priest shall make atonement for them, and they shall be forgiven. He shall carry the bull outside the camp and burn it as he burned the first bull. It is the sin offering for the assembly. When a ruler sins, and unwittingly does any of the things which Yahweh his God has commanded not to be done, and is guilty, if his sin in which he has sinned is made known to him, he shall bring as his offering a goat, a male without defect. He shall lay his hand on the head of the goat and kill it in the place where they kill the burnt offering before Yahweh. It is a sin offering. The priest shall take some of the blood of the sin offering with his finger, and put it on the horns of the altar of burnt offering. He shall pour out the rest of its blood at the base of the altar of burnt offering. All its fat he shall burn on the altar, like the fat of the sacrifice of peace offerings. And the priest shall make atonement for him concerning his sin, and he will be forgiven. If any one of the common people sins unwittingly in doing any of the things which Yahweh has commanded not to be done and is guilty, if his sin which he has sinned is made known to him, then he shall bring for his offering a goat, a female without defect, for his sin which he has sinned. He shall lay his hand on the head of the sin offering, and kill the sin offering in the place of burnt offering. The priest shall take some of its blood with his finger, and put it on the horns of the altar of burnt offering, and the rest of its blood he shall pour out at the base of the altar. All its fat he shall take away, like the fat is taken away from the sacrifice of peace offerings. And the priest shall burn it on the altar for a pleasant aroma to Yahweh, and the priest shall make atonement for him, and he will be forgiven. If he brings a lamb as his offering for a sin offering, he shall bring a female without defect. He shall lay his hand on the head of the sin offering, and kill it for a sin offering in the place where they kill the burnt offering. The priest shall take some of the blood of the sin offering with his finger, and put it on the horns of the altar. The priest shall take some of the blood of the sin offering with his finger, and put it on the horns of the altar of burnt offering. And all the rest of its blood he shall pour out at the base of the altar. He shall remove all its fat, like the fat of the lamb is removed from the sacrifice of peace offerings. The priest shall burn them on the altar, on the offerings of Yahweh made by fire. The priest shall make atonement for him concerning his sin that he has sinned, and he will be forgiven. If anyone sins in that he hears a public adjuration to testify, he, being a witness, whether he has seen or known, if he doesn't report it, then he shall bear his iniquity. Or if anyone touches an unclean thing, whether it is the carcass of an unclean animal, or the carcass of unclean livestock, or the carcass of unclean creeping things, and it is hidden from him, and he is unclean, then he shall be guilty. Or if he touches the uncleanness of man, whatever his uncleanness is, with which he is unclean, and it is hidden from him, when he knows of it, then he shall be guilty. Or if anyone swears rashly with his lips to do evil or to do good, whatever it is that a man might utter rashly with an oath, and it is hidden from him, when he knows of it, then he will become guilty of one of these. It shall be, when he is guilty of one of these, he shall confess that in which he has sinned, and he shall bring his trespass offering to Yahweh for his sin which he has sinned, a female from the flock, a lamb or a goat for a sin offering, and the priest shall make atonement for him concerning his sin. If he can't afford a lamb, then he shall bring his trespass offering for that in which he has sinned, 2 turtle doves or 2 young pigeons to Yahweh, one for a sin offering and the other for a burnt offering. He shall bring them to the priest, who shall first offer the one which is for the sin offering. He shall wring off its head from its neck, but shall not sever it completely. He shall sprinkle some of the blood of the sin offering on the side of the altar, and the rest of the blood shall be drained out at the base of the altar. It is a sin offering. He shall offer the second for a burnt offering, according to the ordinance, and the priest shall make atonement for him concerning his sin which he has sinned, and he shall be forgiven. But if he can't afford 2 turtle doves or 2 young pigeons, then he shall bring as his offering for that in which he has sinned 1/10 of an ephah of fine flour for a sin offering. He shall put no oil on it, and he shall not put any frankincense on it, for it is a sin offering. He shall bring it to the priest, and the priest shall take his handful of it as a memorial portion, and burn it on the altar, on the offerings of Yahweh made by fire. It is a sin offering. The priest shall make atonement for him concerning his sin that he has sinned in any of these things, and he will be forgiven. And the rest shall be the priest's as the meal offering. Yahweh spoke to Moses, saying, If anyone commits a trespass and sins unwittingly regarding Yahweh's holy things, then he shall bring his trespass offering to Yahweh, a ram without defect from the flock, according to your estimation in silver by shekels, according to the shekel of the sanctuary, for a trespass offering. He shall make restitution for that which he has done wrong regarding the holy thing, and shall add a fifth part to it, and give it to the priest, and the priest shall make atonement for him with the ram of the trespass offering, and he will be forgiven. If anyone sins, doing any of the things which Yahweh has commanded not to be done, though he didn't know it, he is still guilty and shall bear his iniquity. He shall bring a ram without defect from the flock, according to your estimation, for a trespass offering, to the priest, and the priest shall make atonement for him concerning the thing in which he sinned and didn't know it, and he will be forgiven. It is a trespass offering. He is certainly guilty before Yahweh. Yahweh spoke to Moses, saying, If anyone sins and commits a trespass against Yahweh, and deals falsely with his neighbor in a matter of deposit, or of bargain, or of robbery, or has oppressed his neighbor, or has found that which was lost and lied about it, and swearing to a lie, in any of these things that a man sins in his actions, then it shall be, if he has sinned and is guilty, he shall restore that which he took by robbery, or the thing which he has gotten by oppression, or the deposit which was committed to him, or the lost thing which he found, or anything about which he has sworn falsely, he shall restore it in full, and shall add a fifth part more to it. He shall return it to him to whom it belongs in the day of his being found guilty. He shall bring his trespass offering to Yahweh, a ram without defect from the flock, according to your estimation for a trespass offering, to the priest. The priest shall make atonement for him before Yahweh, and he will be forgiven concerning whatever he does to become guilty. Yahweh spoke to Moses, saying, Command Aaron and his sons, saying, This is the law of the burnt offering. The burnt offering shall be on the hearth on the altar all night until the morning, and the fire of the altar shall be kept burning on it. The priest shall put on his linen garment, and he shall put on his linen trousers upon his body, and he shall remove the ashes from where the fire has consumed the burnt offering on the altar, and he shall put them beside the altar. He shall take off his garments, and put on other garments, and carry the ashes outside the camp to a clean place. The fire on the altar shall be kept burning on it, it shall not go out. And the priest shall burn wood on it every morning. He shall lay the burnt offering in order upon it, and shall burn on it the fat of the peace offerings. Fire shall be kept burning on the altar continually, it shall not go out. This is the law of the meal offering. The sons of Aaron shall take it before Yahweh before the altar. He shall take from there his handful of the fine flour of the meal offering, and of its oil, and all the frankincense which is on the meal offering, and shall burn it on the altar for a pleasant aroma, as its memorial portion, to Yahweh. That which is left of it, Aaron and his sons shall eat. It shall be eaten without yeast in a holy place. They shall eat it in the court of the tent of meeting. It shall not be baked with yeast. I have given it as their portion of my offerings made by fire. It is most holy, as are the sin offering and the trespass offering. Every male among the children of Aaron shall eat it, as their portion forever throughout your generations, from the offerings of Yahweh made by fire. Whoever touches them shall be holy. Yahweh spoke to Moses, saying, This is the offering of Aaron and his sons, which they shall offer to Yahweh in the day when he is anointed. 1/10 of an ephah of fine flour for a meal offering perpetually, half of it in the morning, and half of it in the evening. It shall be made with oil in a griddle. When it is soaked, you shall bring it in. You shall offer the meal offering in baked pieces, for a pleasant aroma to Yahweh. The anointed priest that will be in his place from among his sons shall offer it. By a statute forever, it shall be wholly burned to Yahweh. Every meal offering of a priest shall be wholly burned. It shall not be eaten. Yahweh spoke to Moses, saying, Speak to Aaron and to his sons, saying, This is the law of the sin offering. In the place where the burnt offering is killed, the sin offering shall be killed before Yahweh. It is most holy. The priest who offers it for sin shall eat it. It shall be eaten in a holy place, in the court of the tent of meeting. Whatever shall touch its flesh shall be holy. When there is any of its blood sprinkled on a garment, you shall wash that on which it was sprinkled in a holy place. But the earthen vessel in which it is boiled shall be broken. And if it is boiled in a bronze vessel, it shall be scoured and rinsed in water. Every male among the priests shall eat of it. It is most holy. No sin offering of which any of the blood is brought into the tent of meeting to make atonement in the holy place shall be eaten. It shall be burned with fire. Okay, the first 6 chapters of Leviticus are down. A couple of things about the sin offering. A better word might be purification, so it's more a purification offering. The idea of a sin offering is cleansing and providing atonement. And importantly, it's for unintentional sin. So you couldn't sin on purpose and expect to offer a sacrifice and make everything good. In fact, in Leviticus, there is actually no sacrifice for intentional sin. A sin offering or a purification offering is offered mostly because you are ritually unclean. So it doesn't mean that you've sinned or done something wrong, but you might have touched something, and in the ancient Hebrew culture, touching impure things would make you ritually unclean, which just meant that you weren't in an appropriate state to come and visit God. So you couldn't draw near if you were in an unclean state. So it was possible for the whole congregation to be unclean. They were probably all unclean after they'd made the idol of the golden calf and worshipped the golden calf. Some other things that made you unclean was contact with death. You would have been unclean after childbirth, or maybe you touched a lizard or a rabbit. So yeah, none of these are sinful, but they did make you ritually unclean. So maybe we could imagine, let's do a bit of a thought experiment. Imagine you're an ancient Israelite and you're getting married and you want everyone in your village, you want everyone to come to the party and eat some lamb. So you would bring a lamb for a peace offering. And we talked about that yesterday. But there's a problem. You've stepped on a lizard. Or maybe at the wedding tasting, at the food tasting, you accidentally ate a lobster. And that means that you're ritually unclean. So you'd bring a sin offering, and then you would be cleansed, and the priest would make atonement for you. And now it's okay for you to bring your peace offering, and now you can eat that peace offering in a holy state because you're not unclean anymore. And you can take that meat home, and you can have your wedding, and you can have your party, and you're not in an unclean or an impure state. A reminder, yesterday we read and we talked about how the best bits, the fat, the kidneys and the liver were all given up to God as a gift. Well, the same thing happens here with the sin offering. So the sin offering, it's still food and it's still a pleasing aroma. Another thing to notice is about the value of the offering. So if the anointed priest or the high priest, anointed priest is just another way of saying the high priest, if the high priest sins, then he brings a bull as a sin or a purification offering. But if a ruler sins or is impure, then he brings a goat. Anyone else? So a common Israelite, they would bring a goat or a female goat. And apparently female goats weren't as valuable as male goats. And did you notice that if someone was really poor, they could just bring a bird? Or if they couldn't even afford a bird, they could bring a handful of flour or grain. And same thing, they'd be cleansed and atonement would be made. So this shows that God wants everyone to be able to be cleansed and to be forgiven. It's not just for the rich or if you could only afford a lamb or a goat. But even if you could only grab a handful of fine flour, God's saying, yep, I want you to come, I want you to be cleansed, and you can have atonement made for you as well. The trespass offering, or in other Bible translations, it's called the guilt offering. So it's similar to the sin offering, but restitution is made. And this is the difference. So a sacrifice wasn't a payment and it wasn't a penalty. So even the sin offering isn't paying a penalty, because here what we see with the guilt offering is that restitution is made first, and then a fifth is added to it. So whatever wrong was done must first be made right, plus compensation. And then the guilt offering is brought to Yahweh. If something was stolen, maybe accidentally you took home the wrong cow. So what you do when you found out, you'd restore the cow, or if you'd lost the cow, you'd replace the cow, and you'd add a fifth of its value as compensation. And then after that, so you've already made it right. After that, you bring an offering to restore the relationship with God. So it's called a guilt offering or a trespass offering. You might be wondering what exactly it means to be guilty, but did you catch that phrase, when he is made aware of it, he shall bear his iniquity? The idea is if you accidentally touched something holy, or if you dedicated a lamb for a sacrifice, but you forgot and you accidentally ate it, then when you become aware of it, then you become guilty because you've been made aware of what you've done wrong. But the idea of bearing iniquity is carrying iniquity. So it's like a weight that you carry around, like a weight of guilt. And the way to remove that weight of guilt was to bring an offering. And then when the Bible says that he will be forgiven, the word in Hebrew actually means to lift off or to remove that guilt. So in Hebrew thought, if you're guilty, you're carrying a weight. And what you need is you need for someone else to lift that burden off you. And in this case, it's God who is doing the removing and removing the burden of sin or the burden of guilt from you. You might have noticed that we kind of repeated a couple of the offerings, the burnt offering again. So here, the instructions for the burnt offerings and actually all 5 offerings are repeated, but this time it's from the perspective of the priests. And tomorrow we'll continue with more priestly instructions for the guilt and the peace offerings. One instruction for the priest is that the fire must be kept burning continually. It must not go out. And I don't know if you've thought about this, but that would mean that the animal isn't killed on the altar. That's something that a lot of people miss. In the Bible, the animal isn't killed on the altar. It's killed before the altar, and then the pieces of the meat are placed on the altar. And when you realize that the altar or the fire on the altar was always burning, it kind of makes sense. You're not going to put a live animal on top of the altar and then try and kill it up there. All right, and with the sin offering, did you notice that the priests eat some of the sin offering? So, one thing it's important to notice is that there's no impurity or sin transferred to the offering, even the sin offering. We'll talk about it a bit later in Leviticus, but the fact that the priests eat it kind of implies that it's not impure or unholy. But later on, it says that the sin offering remains holy. It says if anyone or anything touches it, it must be holy. And the priests have to eat it in a holy place. The sin offering is still a pleasing aroma to God. It remains holy and it has to be eaten in a holy place. Okay, if you want to keep digging into Leviticus, or if this has excited you, or maybe it's confused you, I cover a lot of these topics in my book. It's a book called Leviticus on the Butcher's Block, and I talk a lot about these sacrifices, the sin offering, the portions of meat, and the fat, and the priests eating the sin offering. I hope you'll join me tomorrow, and we'll read another 3 chapters of Leviticus. But for now, I'll pray to finish. Our Father, thank you that you care for us. Thank you that your desire is that we would be cleansed and forgiven. And thank you that you want that for everyone, no matter if we can't afford much, but your forgiveness, your cleansing is available to everyone. Thank you that what these offerings reveal about your heart. Your desire is to see restoration, to see wrongs made right, to see relationships restored, and to see restoration between each other. But thank you that ultimately you want to see us restored to you. And thank you that you've made a way for that to be possible. You've made a way for our relationship with you to be restored. Amen. Thanks for joining me. This has been fun. Hopefully, I will see you tomorrow.